to Dr. Couturier. Do you have anything for Trump County tax collection report?
No report.
Thank you. The PSBA member liaison report now. There's a new guide on my PSBA specifically how to hire and work with school solicitors. It goes into the depths, the hiring process of those, and any questions specifically coming from PSBA. You can now earn a certificate in a school safety preparedness with the Penn SSI Institute. The 2025 PA School Director Conference is October 19th to 21st at Calvary Resorts. And as of a few days ago, the Pennsylvania General Assembly is still working with budget with different census being seen in the near future. They're almost at a stalemate right now, and no one's going to the table at all. And the last thing I have, if you go into my PSBA and do trainings, there are now micro trainings where you can learn specifically about specific board procedures or policies or anything else on the like. And that's all I have for the report. We'll now move into administrative reports with Dr. Varga.
Good evening. Just want to update everybody. So graduation, that was moved to the gymnasium due to rain, but overall I thought the ceremony went really well. The student speeches, they were well done. I'm sure it was bittersweet for Mrs. Stewart to hand out diplomas to her last elementary class, but I thought that was a nice touch to that. I'd like to thank Ms. Mondale, Ms. Hebrink, Mr. Orange, Ms. Ondish for their contributions to the event. They certainly put some great touches on those things. I'd also like to recognize the staff that attended. I think that's an important and meaningful gesture that is appreciated not only by the students, but the families in attendance as well. The master schedule is being worked on at this point. The major items have been completed. At this point, it's been passed on to the guidance office where Dr. Linkus is examining conflicts, addressing those conflicts, and when need be, touching base with families to kind of say, hey, here are your options, what direction do you want to go in? Speaking of Dr. Linkus, I would just like to personally say I would like to wish her well. I was surprised when she told me that she was moving on from Leesburg. However, I certainly understand it seems like a great opportunity for her and her family. I did not have a chance to work long with Dr. Linkus, but with what I did and when I did work with her, I thought she was on the highest professional level and we'll certainly miss her. And I want to wish her the best of luck. It should be missed here at Leesburg. We also had the awards assembly as well. It was great to see our students' hard work recognized, obviously, in the form of financial rewards. I just think it is amazing that for the size of our school and for the amount of money that's brought in and earned from our students, that we're certainly doing right by them, and the parents are doing a great job, and certainly without that relationship, that success wouldn't take place. The branding guide, the final mock-ups of those items are being made. So I will pass those along to Dr. Keebler, who will share those items with you. So what it looks like is that there will be some choices with the devil head, the devil logo. They revamped how the pitchfork looks, and there's some options with font and some of those items with script and block lettering and things like that. I think we've kind of settled on a color scheme with those items so it's consistent. So you'll have an opportunity to kind of choose from those things. I think they did a great job. I appreciate the work that Jostens and School Mark has done, working with me and the committee and Dr. Keebler and Mr. Baranchek while we work through these things. As I told them from the start, there's not a lot of options when it comes to a Blue Devil mascot. However, I think they kind of sharpened some things up and given us some options to look at, and I'm really happy with what they've turned out. So in essence, you'll have probably a 2 to 3 page document that you can kind of choose from, and once we do that, that'll be the standard for when it comes to uniforms, t-shirts, things like that. Anything that would be associated with our likeness here we would want them to use those items for that. So I think you guys will be happy with it. I know I was. The handbook, I apologize that has to be tabled and not ready for approval. So in examining the middle school, high school handbook, I felt it needed an overhaul and a review. As I was going through it, it just seemed like there were things that were not aligned with board policy, and there were some conflicts and some wording that wasn't quite clear. So I just kind of started from ground zero there and was looking at those items, comparing them with board policy to make sure that they were not conflicting, and then also to linking those items in the handbook. So when it is posted online, The parents can look at those things and see which policies are referenced to. It's just a very tedious process to do, but I just want to make sure that it's done right and done well. So in the future, when we do these reviews on an annual basis, it should be much more efficient and not so tedious. That should be done by July, though, so you'll have that. Additionally, summer ordering, cleaning projects are being tackled and completed as we speak. And so far, I believe the month of June, which is hard to say that we're already on the doorstep of July, has been a productive one. Are there any questions?
I don't have a question, but I just have something to piggyback on what you said about the staff attendance at graduation. I know it's not a requirement of the staff or the school board, but I really feel that it is very important to be representing the school board at such a large event. And I know people have lives and kids who aren't in school, and I'm not asking anybody for why they couldn't be there, but there was a time, and again, this was whenever people maybe didn't have as many activities with their children, where all the school board members would attend something that was so monumental to the school. And I just was sad to see that only 4 board members attended. And I would hope in the future it can be more. I know kids don't know everybody on the board because they may not have kids here, or, so they don't know these adults. I think they should. I think you should get to know your school board, and that's one way to be there, is to be present at events. And that's my opinion, and I just wanted to say it.
I agree with you, because I went to Leonard meetings, and I was the only board member there besides the president. I sat in a row by myself. But it's very important. I was looking at it this way. If it was your child, you would be there. That's all I have to say. But I want to recommend you. You have done a wonderful job for this school.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're going above and beyond. And I'm sure the board appreciates you. I'm sure the parents and the students.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
That's your job.
Thank you, Dr. Carter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Carter.
There's one that I was at Earl High Schools because my basically daughter was graduating from Earl High School. So
And that's why thank you, but I wasn't, I didn't bring it on the spot, but it's just like, it's my kid. You know what I mean? Thank you, I didn't mean it in that way, but I just meant there should be more of us in attendance. And I also said that people have their own lives and their own children. So that was an excusing of this, but in the future. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sound as bad as I must have.
All right, brief update from the IT department. So we collected all the Chromebooks from the students that we could, and we organized them, making sure they're ready to go for the evening of the school year. If any components are missing, we're going to be following up with parents and the students to make sure that we have all the pieces and parts of the charter cables that we need. We're going to try something new this year, which is we're going to pilot program. We're going to try out from the junior high and try to issue some hardback cases for so that we're going to see if adding hardback cases will reduce the number of broken screens and repairs that are needed. We analyzed the data and we found that the junior high, like other school districts, have the most instances of breakage. So we're going to run that and we'll analyze the data at the end of the year to see if that really made a difference. Over the summer, we're going to, after the budget's approved, we're going to look at ordering new Chromebooks, getting those refreshed. Laptops, Windows 10 is out of service, so we want to get all the Windows 10 laptops for the teachers upgraded. And we're looking forward to a security camera add-on project, and we're adding about 14 or so new security camera systems, and that was paid for a state grant. So we're keeping busy over the summer, and everything seems to be working out pretty well.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Clark, I'll be in attendance today, but Dr. Keith, that's kind of
I will be playing the part of
Dr. Clark.
Good to see everybody again. Okay, so for the events in the elementary, end of the year went well. They had an assembly for awards given to Accelerator Reader on May 28th. Field day was a success, and that was conducted on 5:30. June 2nd was the 5th grade farewell and glow party for all grades. Kindergarten and pre-K graduation were held on June 4th, and they're preparing for the 25-26 school year. As for the special ed side of things, there were 7 IEPs held in June. All early intervention meetings have been held for incoming kindergarten students that receive services, and for MTSS cases are all wrapped up for 24-25. Any questions? If you have them, I don't know the answers. I'm just going to make
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now move into the business report with Mr. Chadwick.
Good evening, everybody. So just a few topics that you have on your agendas to vote on this evening. I just want to hit on before you get to that. So the forward office technology that we added in as an agenda item, what that is that's an addition to our current lease agreement that we have through Ford. It's about $1,800 a month right now for our big devices and whatnot. So with this additional agreement, it'd be an extra $500 some to add that on. And that provides coverage to the additional small devices that we have at people's computer stations or in classrooms, anything of that nature. It makes logistical sense to do that because it wasn't covered. So anytime we were calling for service or maintenance, they were charging us and billing us for it. And anytime we were ordering toner or ink, it was $1,800 just for that stuff. So logistically, it just makes the most sense. The government software services, I'm sure you're all aware of what that is. It's the print and mail our tax bills. So if that gets approved, I can move forward with them. Our homestead, farmstead exclusion resolution that will hopefully be passed tonight. The details of that, $778,133 from the state will go towards 1,681 approved homestead, farmstead properties within the Leesburg Area School District. And the first Commonwealth Bank authorized signers resolution, that is for me to gain access to those bank accounts. It's an act of Congress to get into those bank accounts, and I'll be getting out of those bank accounts because the interest rate on them is very poor. It's only about a percentage, whereas there's competitors out there that are in the 4%. So there's about $1.5 million, 1.5 million in that account. So I'd like to get that out to get better interest bearing towards it. Moving into the final budget presentation, just want to hit on changes that have happened since our May proposed budget. So with our revenue changes, we got some numbers from the federal level when it comes to our title funds. So Title I, it's going to be $202,000, which is up from the $175,000. Title II, 25 for 25-26, it's down a couple thousand. Title IV is down about $400. But our net increase that we'll be seeing is $24,493. I believe the reasoning between the title and the Title IV slight adjustments. Dr. Keebler does a great thing when it comes to the title fund. Since there's such little funds that come for Title II, Title IV, we moved those to Title I to pay teachers' salary benefits out of. It was one thing that I wanted to do before I got here, and he's already doing it, so it's a fantastic situation. I have noted on here an access drawdown of $300,000. Access is what's provided through the AIU. It's essentially a fund that we submit expenditures. They give us funds that we can pull down when we see fit. I budgeted for this. It's not a necessity to draw it down unless the time comes where if we're in a financial pinch, it will help offset expenditures. And with access, it's to help offset paraprofessionals' costs, so we can charge off salary benefits just to help our expenditures. Like I stated, we might not need to draw the funds down, but budgeting for it just gives us that ability to do so if we need to. And a side note, access is federal funds. So as I stated in May about the PE 363, it's another game to play with the cyber charter schools when it comes to calculating that. So 26-27 school year, when we get that 25-26 budgeted, it will help our tuition costs because it's a federal revenue that we get to deduct. Expenditure changes throughout from May to June, staffing adjustments with our few terminations that we've had. We hopefully get approval tonight on our teacher contract. So I put in the salary benefit increases that are within this contract and pulled that out of our contingency that we had set aside. Capital project that we have coming out of the general fund balance. In May, it was at 1.8 million. There was a payment that was due that we had to pay out of the 24-25 school district. So it's going to be 1.4 million out of the 25-26 budget. That 370,000 payment that was due, 175 of it I took out of the capital project fund that was, I believe, in First Commonwealth. I just wanted to help alleviate that 370 that would have been going against the general fund. That was kind of unexpected. So I'm hoping that will help us out with the general fund. Come on all that time. Contingency, it's down to $285,000. So here's our revenues going into next school year. Local pretty much stayed the same, state stayed the same, and our federal is where we see our change from May to now because of that access addition of 300,000. So we went from 241 to 541 there. For our total projected revenues of 16.3. Our expenditures, as I stated, I moved out of contingency the teacher salaries that will be increasing going into next school year. So within instruction, those numbers went up for us. Not much though. Facilities, as I stated earlier, 1.8 down to 1.4 in the 5,000s category. 500,000 of that is our debt service payment that's locked in every single year. It's from bonds. It's automatic, got to pay it, and contingencies also added in there. So our expenses are at 18.3. So little comparison from May to June. As you can see, our budgeted revenues are going up. That's in fact of our access, as I stated, and the little additional money that we're getting from the federal level for title funds. Our expenditures, we're able to cut down a little bit from May to June, which makes me happy, but not as much as I was hoping to. So we're down 381,000 from May to June. Capital already hit on that, contingency already hit on that. So currently our projected loss at year end is going to be 221,000. So dropped 179 from the 400 that we had in May. So we're slowly closing the gap. I wanted to bring this to the board's light, potential charter savings. I'm hopeful, optimistic, but I understand the realities of politics in the state level. So there's proposed change with House Bill 1500, where regular cyber charter schools would be a flat $8,000 in tuition. Currently, we pay $17,047.59 per student for the school year. So a little breakdown here. Regular ed cyber charter this year, $357,000. Moving on with this, we have 2 graduates with cybers, so that's $34,000. 25-26, obviously I haven't completed our PD 363, so this is just a soft number right now, would be around $323,000 without this reform. If we were to get this reform with $8,000 flat per student in regular ed cyber charter school, it'd be $152,000 out the door for their tuition costs. We would see a potential savings of $171,000 with this. So if you take that $221,000 deficit that we were looking at on the last slide and put the potential savings we could get if this passes in the Senate, we'd be down $49,000 in deficit. Hopefully it goes through. I have the optimism that it will, but understand the level. Just wanted to bring this to the board's light because this would help us significantly. It would help every school district in Pennsylvania. Lastly, my little snip here of PDEs. Real estate taxes, the hot topics here. I just wanted to point out what the millages are going to be moving in the next school year. So for Armstrong, we're looking at 69.65 mills, and for Westmoreland, 158.91. And the little magic number I get that goes into our budget for real estate revenue, we're looking at $4,945,300. Anybody have any questions on anything? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chaplain.
We'll now move into the LAA President report of Wandale.
Good evening and happy June. It's kind of sweaty out there. I would like to wrap up my June report by talking about our graduates. This year we had 20 pre-K graduates. 15 of them will be headed off to kindergarten, and 5 will stay and do another year of pre-K to get those basic solid skills they need. Kindergarten had 40 graduates. 7 are going to stay in kindergarten again, and so they can kill it and be better students overall. We had 43 high school graduates. I want to tag on to something that Dr. Vargo said at the awards assembly. Our seniors received over $900,000 in scholarship money. That is massive money that they are well deserving to receive. I'd like to point out that LEA gave 4 $1,000 scholarships this year. And even though we are small in numbers, we like to give as much as we can back to the kids. I want to also tag on to something Mr. Chapla said. Please contact your senators, your state senators about that cyber charter bill. We all know that is what's killing us. That and healthcare are the two veins of our existence. And I just want to end by thanking the administration this year. We had a great year here at Leechburg. Hasn't always been great, and at the end of the year, most of us are ready to run far and run fast out the doors, but I think everybody this year was a little sad to say goodbye for the summer. So thank you to Dr. Keeler, to Dr. Vargo, and Mr. Comark for making it a really great year and making Leechburg the best possible version of Leechburg it can be. Any questions for me?
Thank you to the teachers.
Yes.
We try. Thank you.
Yes, yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
We'll now move into personnel with tenure recognition of Ms. Kelsey Craig, Mr. Michael McKee, and Mrs. Amy Sassone. Is there any discussion on that?
Just congratulations.
We will then be discussing the 2025-2026 athletic supplementals. Is there any questions on that? Do the same thing with the 2025-2026 non-athletic supplementals. Any questions for that?
I determined the raises on the paying those. Is it by percentage of what they make?
Mr. Chapman.
Yeah, I apologize.
Now, how do you determine the amount, the increase for each of these supplementals?
It's agreed upon in the teacher contract, so there's a flat amount that,
So
so they get 3%.
so it's based on what they already had made, and there's no changing that, like
Yeah, it's written within the CBA of what the increases would be.
okay, all right. I thought I just needed to be reassured on that. Thank you.
Anyone else? 7.4, resignation of employee number 909, retroactive approval. 7.5, resignation of employee 845, retroactive approval. Any discussion on this? Under 7.6, we'll be discussing the hiring of a 7 to 12 social studies teacher. Under 7.7, we'll be discussing the mentor teacher. Any questions on either of those two? In a few minutes, we'll be discussing 7.8, the LEA agreement for 2025 through 2030. Any discussions on that? The next two in personnel are 7.9, Act 93 agreement from 2025 to 2030, and 7.10, confidential secretary to the superintendent, 2025 to 2030. Any questions on either of those two? Next, we'll go to budget and finance. We'll be discussing the budget transfers. as submitted there. Under 8.2, the financial reports, with all the final attachments. Are there any questions on any of those two? 8.3, 2025 Government Software Services Agreement. I know Mr. Kevin talked about that just a little bit. The 8.4, 2025-2026 PINS People Service Agreement. And then 8.5, 2025 to 2026 Homestead Farmstead Resolution. Any questions on that? Under 8.6, PSEA General Vision Agreement. 8.7, First Commonwealth Bank Authorized Signers Resolution. And 8.8, 2025-2026 PA School-Based Access Program Agreement. Any questions on those three? 8.9, 2025-26 Butler County Head Start MOU. 8.10, 2025-2026 General Fund Final Budget. And then 8.11 Payout of Federal Vacation Days. Any questions on any of those three?
On the Butler County Head Start, why do we have an MOU with Butler County?
Yeah, we're gonna collect the days again.
Oh, maybe we're offline, he's offline. Okay, I'll ask it later, again,
Sorry about that.
that's fine.
We can wait until you back up, we'll circle back to that question.
Or even if we go to vote.
Sure, yeah, that's fine too. Any questions on 8.10 or 8.11? We'll move into field trip requests. There's only one field trip request, life skills to the community-based learning 2025-2026 school year. Any questions?
I do have one on that as well. Will there be a number of days that they can do this? Dr. Barker, do you know about that? Like that field trip request for the, like the cafe to go to stores and such in the school van? Can they just do that randomly, or should there be a number of days that they are permitted to leave the district?
I mean, yeah, they're gonna run that, they should have approval from, from us, at least so we get a heads up. I mean, some of them, I know sometimes it's a little wishy-washy with like field trips, but if they're leaving and coming back during the same day, that typically is more of a matter of information, and they still have to submit it for myself and Dr. Keebler. If it would extend past the school day, typically that'd be something that you guys would vote on and talk about. But depending on what the opportunities are, I don't want to say it's a case by case basis, but sometimes things pop up and opportunities pop up that may not have been advertised, we didn't know about, that we think would be a great opportunity that may have not been in prior years. We would want them to go, so that might be extra, which is why Mrs. Crooks would submit those things on a consistent basis.
Okay, I just wondered if it would just be any time that something came along. I mean, and I understand the value of it, but I also think it can't just be something that's just randomly,
Sure.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And we'll go back now to 8.9. Dr. Keebler, Ms. Stewart asked 2025-2026 Butler County Head Start MOU. Could you explain that a little bit, please?
Yeah, that's the agreement that has to be in place with the Head Start agencies. Armstrong County no longer has a Head Start agency, so we go through Butler County, and it's basically just general information that we share anything with Armstrong County for incoming kindergartners, any kindergarten transition events, or giving them resources that would be out there that we share that information with them.
Okay, I just didn't realize that there was none in Armstrong County, so that's why I went to why it was Butler.
Yeah. I think this is the third year now Butler County has run ours. It's part of the federal programs that we have to have this MOU in place every year. It used to be through Armstrong, but I want to say this is the third year now Butler's running Butler and Armstrong, because they don't have a center in Armstrong County running it. They're just being run by Butler.
Okay, great, thank you.
I apologize for that. I was cut out there for a second.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Any other questions? We'll move into fundraising requests. There's two of them. The junior class cookie fundraiser September 2025, and the junior class virtual pot candy bars in September of 2025. Any questions on those? We'll move into curriculum, the pre-K to 5 handbook. We'll be discussing that. And I believe we are going to be tabling 11.2 to 6 and 12 handbook, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
Any questions on either of those two? We'll now go into superintendent report, Dr. Keebler.
Thank you. I hope everybody can hear me on that. It's been much of a whirlwind going through the last 4 to 6 weeks of the school year. Dr. Vargo, Mr. Comar and Ms. Mondale followed up with a lot of that, bits and pieces. First off, I want to thank our staff for everything they did over the course of the year. As Mr. Lovelace just said, it doesn't happen without the teachers, and they truly stepped up this year to work with the new team. We come in fresh. It was a quick start to the year last year as everybody came together in August and really did a nice job with that, and we're doing that going into next year. Just touching on a couple other pieces. Mr. Chapel had talked about that House Bill 1500. We did have a chance last week on Tuesday. Mr. Kirchie up at the IU, the director, was able to bring Glenn G.T. Thompson, who's a U.S. representative from Pennsylvania, up to the IU, and we were able to discuss that with him. We feel that there's going to be some bite to this. It may not be the 8,000. They're still going to have the special ed number being higher than that, but we think that there's enough right now that we're going to get some type of result. It may not be the exact results we wanted, but we're getting there. One of the pieces we talked with him was really looking at the special ed fund and looking at how do we adjust those. We had conversations. If a student transferred in, it could be a bill of $40,000, $50,000 for transportation. So as they go through some of the new funding bills on that, he had asked us to share any recommendations with him. So it was a very nice conversation we had with him up there, and a lot of us are going to continue to work with him on funding pieces that we could help with on that part. Some other things going on, as we've talked about, with an LEA agreement to be approved tonight, an Act 93 agreement tonight, as well as the budget. So I thank everybody who's involved with those processes. It was difficult at times, but we were able to work together and get the resolution on each of those. As Mr. Chaplin said, I'm working right now on Title 1, 2, and 4 applications. I'm hoping to have them submitted by Monday, but that gives us our federal funding on that. And as I said, we do transfer Title 2 and 4. Since it's such a small amount, we struggle to get $20,000. We can't add a teacher to add advanced courses on that. So we do already have funding that doesn't cover the 2 elementary Title 1 teachers. So we transfer it over to cover that. We're able to then cover other money using local funds for any other pieces with that. So we're moving forward with those. Just an update on our budget or our boiler and HVAC project. I met with them last week while I was home. We are on track for that to be completed. They have the old boilers completely ripped out. They started up on the 5th floor doing the HVAC, running the piping and getting all those things done. The boilers are in, they're not on site yet, but they have them at their complex. So I believe it was next week they're going to bring them on site and they will start that installation. So we're moving along. As I get back next week, we'll be meeting weekly with Mike on there to make sure we keep going and keep that on track. But they've done a great job with that. As another part of my update on that, I would like to thank Mr. Agamagic, who is our maintenance director on there. This is his last week, as everybody knows. Mr. Cericio is stepping in to take that position. Adam has done a great job, and it was hard moving on from Mets with that. As we've talked about, having someone internally who is here and there will help out tremendously. But I do want to have a shout out and a thank you to Adam for everything he's done for us. He was a tremendous asset while he was here with that. They were working today and tomorrow together, and then we will transition over moving forward into the next week. So we're getting there with that piece. And a little bit, we're still working with McClure right now, looking at the stadium project with the press box. And as I've mentioned before, working with next year, they had offered to put some pieces in place. We had to go through engineering and making sure we had everything in place to set it there. So I have a meeting set up next week to be able to finalize that, to have a number, and then I can get back to next year. Whether or not we can get it in, the timing will be determined by what that time frame looks like. We got backed up with trying to get an engineer up there to get us the details and work with the borough and some council members to get blueprints of what we're going on so that we can figure out what's going on in the stadium, with it being dated on the years of finding the paper. It delayed us a little bit in there, but we are working on that, and we're also looking for sponsors to try to bring new scoreboards in for the high school gym so that we can update that as well. So those are the things that are going on. We'll be working on goal setting here in July as an admin team, as myself on there, to really start kicking things off and start to prepare for next year. Any questions on anything?
About the railings at the field, are they being put on?
Well, so I talked with Adam, the guy never returned our call, and we're actually not sure what happened to him. So that's on my list to meet with Mr. Cericio next week and when he gets back to get something in place. The guy, he was supposed to put caps on the high school on the 2 railings out there, as well as those, and he just didn't respond. So I don't know if he had a health emergency or something, but the last 2 times we've been trying to reach out to him. But my goal is to have them on there for the first game. And it is on my priority list. I will get them there, however we gotta do that.
And there's another thing that I gotta complain about. The railings at the bottom have like a fence. And people are complaining that they can't grab that railing at the bottom because the fence is high. So that has to be taken care of.
Yes, no, that was brought to my attention last year, and we're looking to work on it this summer. We need to cut them, but we have to make sure we lower them and not cut the tops so no one cuts their hands. They weren't that way, and they were instructed to move them up previously when they put them on. But yes, for the first game, we will have that fixed. Yeah, you can't grab the handle walking up because the fence.
The ex-mayor was complaining about that whenever he was trying to get back up in the stadium after he was dancing on the football field. And he,
Yeah, no,
and he asked me to help me back up in the stadium, and I'm crippled myself. And so it's like me trying to say, I hope he doesn't fall, because I can keep my head. We had the rain,
no,
I wasn't worried.
we'll have those fixed for the first football.
All right, good.
One more thing, Dave, can we get maintenance to turn off the blinking 15-mile-per-hour signs since the school's not in session anymore?
Are they still blinking?
They were still blinking this morning when I was yeah. Thank you.
I will send the message right now.
Thanks.
Joe could just handle that, right?
Any other questions for Dr. Keeler? Thank you, Dr. Keeler. We'll now move into 13 board-related issues. 13.1, the superintendent's evaluation. 13.2, the administrative and secretarial evaluations as well. Any questions on those? 13.3, we will be voting on the appointment of Len P. JOC treasurer. Any questions? 14, public comment on agenda items. Are there any questions? None. Seeing none, we will now adjourn the meeting at 6:58 p.m. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Motion. Second. All in favor? Both. All right, meeting adjourned. Anyone need a break before we go on to the next meeting?
Administrative fee,
Sure.
if they wish.
I'm helping Mr. Catchap on, so
Okay.
I'll be staying.
All right.
I'm gonna stay.
I was just looking at you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for reminding me. Call to order the meeting, the regular board meeting on Wednesday of the Leechburg Area School District on Wednesday, June 25th, 2025 at 6:59 p.m. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Mr. Chaplow, will you do roll call, please?
Dr. Coudrier,
Here.
Mr. Fudel, Mrs. Knight, Mr. Lepish. Here. Mr. Lovelace.
Here.
Mr. Maxon. Here. Mr. Paulus.
Here.
Ms. Stewart.
Here.
Mr. Townsend. Here.
Are there any public comment on agenda items? Thank you. Approval of meeting minutes. A motion is needed to approve the meeting minutes for the month of May 2025 as submitted. Do we have a motion? Second? Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Under 4.1, the 2025-2026 athletic supplementals. A motion is needed to approve the following 2025-26 athletic supplementals as submitted, pending successful completion of all required paperwork and clearances. Head coaching positions winter, Andrew McDermott, boys basketball head coach. I don't have anything here for assistant coaching position for the fall. Oh, sorry. Assistant coaching positions for the fall. Tyler Margot, varsity football assistant coach paid. John Allen Snyder, varsity football assistant coach paid. Ryan Lightcap, varsity football assistant coach paid. Dylan Cook, varsity football assistant coach volunteer. Ryan Fulmer, varsity football assistant coach volunteer. Ryan Bowe, varsity football assistant coach volunteer. Bruno Tresco, junior high football assistant coach paid. Sean Lyota, junior high / varsity football assistant coach half paid. Blake Davis, junior high football assistant coach half paid. Michael McKee, junior high football assistant coach volunteer. Blake Davis, varsity soccer assistant coach paid. Amy Tassone, volleyball assistant coach paid. Sarah Kapia, volunteer assistant coach, volleyball assistant coach volunteer. Ann Fisher, volleyball assistant coach volunteer. Ann Romanu, volleyball assistant coach volunteer. And Eva Barrio, volleyball assistant coach volunteer. We have a motion.
Motion.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 4.2, 2025-2026 non-athletic supplementals. Motion is needed to approve the 25-26 non-athletic supplementals as submitted, pending successful completion of all required paperwork and clearances. Jill Perrock, Art Club Junior Senior High. Do I need to read the amounts? Nothing else. Thank you. Angelos Londish, band director. Janina Cavity, chess club. Logan Orange, choir director elementary. Logan Orange, choir director middle school and high school. Tiffany Nepshiel, class advisor junior. Ashley Londale, class advisor senior. Eve Hebring, class advisor senior. Michelle Ferretti, community service coordinator. Michael McKee, department chair K-5 math. Jill Cercio, department chair K-5 math. Jessica Zanovsky, department chair ELA. Kristen Smith, department chair ELA. Nicole Silvas, department chair science. Danielle Mattis, department chair guidance. Anastasia Rekich, department chair K-12 special education. Branka Polito, department chair math. Ashley Londale, department chair ELA/foreign language. Scott Hooks, department chair social studies. Doug Rogers, detention monitor. Ann Fisher, detention monitor. Ann Fisher, advisory program coordinator. Michael McKee, K-5 gifted. Craig Southern, 6-12 gifted coordinator. Alyssa Bruno Walls, drama club sponsor winter. Alyssa Bruno Walls, drama club sponsor spring. Nancy Torella, drama club sponsor assistant winter. Nancy Torella, drama club sponsor assistant spring. Ashley Wandale, homecoming sponsor. Angelique Senko, major at the color board. Trisha Shank, National Honor Society. Angela Vigna, school yearbook advisor. Ann Fisher, Science Club. Trisha Shank, Spanish Club. Nancy Torella, stage manager. Danielle Mattis, student council elementary. Janine DeCapity, student council junior high. Amy Barley, student council senior high. Tanya Shabani, video club sponsor. Rob Reeves, tyco director. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. A motion is needed to recognize tenure status for Kelsey Craig, Michael McKee, and Amy Tassone. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. A motion is needed to accept the resignation of employee 909, effective May 23rd, 2025, retroactive approval. Do we have a motion? Motion. Second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resignation, a motion is needed to accept the resignation of employee 845, effective June 23rd, 2025, a retroactive approval. Do we have a motion?
Motion with regret.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Go ahead. I was just gonna say, I should be missed. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. A motion is needed to approve Timothy Burchett as the 7th through 12th social studies teacher, pending successful completion of all required paperwork and clearances. Do we have a motion?
Andy,
Sorry.
should we, it says step one, down below there, should we fix that prior to agreement? Since we agreed to that step two.
Correct. Do we need to amend the motion? Do you need to amend the motion? No, I would do that. Somebody's making a motion to amend.
Make a motion to amend the previous motion.
To add the, step two classification. To add step two classification.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion is needed to approve the following mentor teacher as submitted. Michelle Brady, mentor teacher for 2 staff members transitioning to the special education department. We need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Under 4.8, LEA Agreement 2025 to 2030. The motion is needed to approve the LEA Agreement 2025 to 2030 as submitted.
Motion.
Second. Discussion?
I'm just happy that it went as well as it did, a little bit of give and take on both sides, and I think that everyone will be very happy. At least I hope so.
Any other discussion? Do we have to do a roll call vote on this, or? If there's any nays, we don't have to do a roll call. Okay. Do we have a motion in a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Motion is needed to approve the academic year agreement 2025 to 2030 as submitted. Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion is needed to approve the confidential secretary to the superintendent 2025 to 2030 effective July 1st, 2025.
Motion.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion is needed to approve the budget transfers for the months of May and June 2025 as submitted. Do you have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. A motion is needed to acknowledge receipt of the following financial reports and to ratify/approve the expenditures expressly set forth therein: capital reserve expenditures, capital reserve revenue, construction fund expenditures, construction fund revenue, food service expenditures, food service revenue, general fund expenditure, general fund revenue, student activities fund report, cash receipts list, treasurer's report, scholarship expenditures, scholarship revenues, check detail report. Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. A motion is needed to approve the 2025 Government Software Services Agreement as submitted.
Motion.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion is needed to approve the 2025-2026 PIMS People Service Agreement as submitted. We have a motion.
Motion.
Is there a second? Any discussion?
I know we talked about this before. Dr. Keebler, we can't have that newer secretary position have this, that would be too much for her to do or to learn to do.
We may work into that. We're still working on some of the pieces that are popping up as errors for PIMS. But if we transition that title, some of this possibly could come into that. Ultimately, if we could do that, that would be the most ideal situation. But they're still submitting them to the state, going through, and this is still part of that position that Ms. Bliss held that we really didn't fill with anybody else. I'm pulling the reports and getting them from everybody that they're submitting them to the state, but this is something we're looking to bring in-house at some point in the near future.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Motion is needed to approve the 2025-26 Homestead Farmstead Resolution as submitted, present upon agreement relating to millage rates. This will be a roll call vote, please. Do you have a motion? Motion. Discussion. Any roll call vote, please.
Mr. Fudel, Mrs. Knight, Mr. Leppish,
Yes.
Mr. Lovelace,
Yes.
Mr. Maxon. Yes. Mr. Pauls,
Yes.
Ms. Stewart,
Yes.
Mr. Townsend,
Yes.
Dr. Kudry.
Yes.
Motion passes. Move on to 5.6, motion is needed to approve the PSCA dental vision agreement as submitted.
Motion.
Any discussion?
This is where it's going to end up benefiting the staff, correct? They're going to get more than what they already have.
Correct. Yes.
That is correct. That was brought to us by the association during negotiations.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion is needed to approve a resolution to have the authorized signers on the First Commonwealth Bank accounts changed as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion is needed to approve the 25-26 PA School-Based Access Program Agreement as submitted. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion is needed to approve the 25-26 Butler County Head Start MOU as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nay, anyone opposed? Motion passes. Motion is needed to approve the 2025-2026 general fund budget for the LASD, the Leesburg Area School District as submitted. We have to have a roll call vote on this. Do we have a motion first?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion?
Does this include that West Leechburg tax thing, that they get that extra relief?
This has nothing to do with that. That was already put through the state and part of E-grants on that back in March when they approved that. This is just for the upcoming budget. It's all itself.
So it's not in writing anywhere in this budget?
Yeah, Candy, so within my budget, you were asking me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Nowhere within the budget is there anything referring to West Leechburg and the tax thing. The only thing within the budget is the school district recognizing the revenue that we will be receiving from the state for the tax equity.
See, this
We
is
just
what happens
have
when
to
you
have
miss.
that documented in our
Yeah.
budget to say
Okay.
that we're receiving that much money the
But
next
it's
school
not-
year from the state.
Okay. I apologize for missing.
No, you're
Now I know how
actually
critical it is
clear.
when you miss. It's, it's hard. I'm behind here on a few things. Thank you.
Any other discussion? A roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Knight, Mr. Leppish,
Yes.
Mr. Lovelace,
No.
Mr. Maxon. Yes. Mr. Paulus,
Yes.
Ms. Stewart,
Yes.
Mr. Townsend,
Yes.
Mr. Fudel, Dr. Kudry.
Yes.
Motion passes. Motion is needed to approve the payout of unused vacation days as submitted.
Motion. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Motion is needed to approve the Ford Office Technologies NPS agreement as submitted.
Motion.
Do you have a second? Second. Discussion?
That's the one that Mr. Barker just explained. It's, okay.
Correct.
Right.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. A motion is needed to approve the field trip request 6.1 as submitted.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Motion is needed to combine and approve fundraising request 7.1 through 7.2 as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. A motion is needed to approve the 2026 elementary handbook as submitted.
Motion.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Do we have a motion to table the 2025-2026 middle/high school handbook as submitted? We're just tabling this until the next meeting.
Motion.
Second. All those in, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. A motion is needed to approve the 2024-2025 school term satisfactory rating for the superintendent of schools for Dr. David Keebler. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just that he definitely is satisfactory, has been.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good job, David.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Dave.
Appreciate that. Thank you all. Look forward to keep building what we're doing there.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. A motion is needed to approve the evaluations and recommended salaries of the administration and secretaries for the 2025-2026 school year. Motion. Second. Discussion? Like we said to Dave, good job to Dave, good job to everyone else on the admin team and all the secretaries. It's a hard job to put together, and we really are a team here, so thanks for everyone involved for that.
Definitely, I agree.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. A motion is needed to approve the appointment of Tracy Bowser as treasurer of the Lenape Joint Operating Committee as submitted. We do have ballots here that we'll be filling out. I should go with that here, or is that just by the ballot? You would vote on it. Okay, do we have a motion for that?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We can fill that out at the end and just make sure we turn it into Mr. Champa. Are there any comments on non-agenda items? The next combined public work session and regular board meeting will be held at Leechburg High School Library on Wednesday, August 13th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Are there any discussions on that? At that point, seeing none, we'll move to, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Adjourned at 7:18 p.m.
And just thank you, everybody. Thank you, my team, for running the meeting while we last time this week. I appreciate that. And look forward to everybody needs anything. Great job. I'll be back in town next week.
Thank you, Dr. Gifford.